Tuesday morning, back to warmer conditions. It's a huge valley with the river and lots of greenery. There's a very loud donkey honking down there somewhere.
Section so that I can talk about the asphalt member of the Akrabou formation, okay? So I'm not going to say anything about it until we get there. It's not a long walk. It's probably 300, 400 metres, yeah? But I want to show you where the fossils come from. I want to talk to you a bit about the paleo environment, and I also want to say something about the preservation, especially the preservation. Now, all of the people that we've been meeting here and greeting us, every one of these people are fossil collectors and fossil preparators, and they have a lot of really nice fossils. They have some rare fossils that you cannot possibly afford, unless I've judged you wrongly. And they have a lot of fossils that you can easily afford. And this is a really good time to buy some very nice Christmas presents. Just like you were when you were in Hamid's place yesterday with trilobites and various things. There are some super ammonites here at very good prices, yeah? So let's walk down now.
David, safety first. Don't challenge.
Yeah.
What you can do, you do. What you can do, don't challenge.
We're not going to go off the track, to be honest. It should be okay. But do watch out for falling rocks and things like that as well, yeah? Okay. Come on, then.
Tuesday lunchtime.
The whole of the limestone sequence that sits on top of the Kem is called the Akrabou formation. You've heard me using that term almost ad nauseum when we've been looking at the edge of the various hamadas, De Guir, Meski and Kem. But we've not really looked at this formation, even though it's been just above us when we've been looking at the Kem. We've just seen debris that's falling down. Well, where we were at the edge of the Hamada de Guir, you hadn't got the full sequence. You'd only got the bottom part of the Akrabou formation. But where we are now, we've got a little bit younger Akrabou, and we're now in the Turonian part of it, not the Cenomanian part of it, the Turonian. So the bottom of the Turonium is what, about 90 million years or something like that? It's at a time when the world's sea levels were probably at their highest. Yeah, it was probably the peak of the marine transgression that did for the Wealden, that finished that, flooded all of the continents, and enormous parts of the planet were covered with water. Enormous parts. There were, during the earlier parts of the Cretaceous, a couple of times when the oxygen levels in the oceans actually went down. They're called ocean anoxic events, AOEs. Yeah, and this is one of them here. I forget which one it is. I'm terrible for forgetting the tiny details of these things. But what you can see above us is that the limestones are massive, and you can see that they've got quite a rough texture. A lot of those are shelly limestones, packed full of oysters and things like that. And if we were on the cliff over there, where you can see these beds are rising, quite a lot of the limestones below these limestones that we're standing on are also really shelly. They're shallow water limestones. But this event here represents the peak of the transgression, and these are deeper water facies. And what you can see is that they are very finely bedded. In fact, they're laminated, which hints at some anoxia, because there's nothing burrowing the sediment. So there's not a lot of oxygen, so it's not full of bivalves. There are some horizons where there are lots of bivalves, but they're all small, shallow burrowers, and there's none of the normal sort of pholadomyids and things, the nice deep burrowing things, and all of the stuff that churns sediment up. So there's been a halt in this biotubation, and that's often thought to be caused by having anoxia or dysoxia, which stops there being a diverse benthos. Yeah? This particular locality is that every time an ammonite died, every time a fish died, every time a turtle died, or a pliosaur or plesiosaur, but not an ichthyosaur, and sod it, not a pterosaur either, a nodule formed around the animal before it could fall apart, or before anything might scavenge it. Well, it might not get scavenged if there's no oxygen, nothing down there to do that. So the fossils in here are three-dimensional because the concretion formed early on. We sometimes, if we want to sound clever, call them eodiagenetic concretions, early diagenetic concretions. The formation of them occurs before any compaction. Yeah? It is possible that when this was happening, if there had been some winnowing, you'd have ended up with a seafloor of spherical or subspherical concretions lying on the seafloor. But they're actually scattered throughout. But where Mohammed is standing, there is a layer there where the concretions very often contain a three-dimensional fossil, a fish or an ammonite, and occasionally a plesiosaur, a pliosaur or a tethyosaur, and even turtles as well. Some very big turtles, not small, big turtles, yeah? And so this is the pay dirt horizon. I call this, in my publications, the Asflamember, naming it after this village. Some French people call it the Goulmima assemblage. Well, Goulmima is bloody miles down there, nothing to do with this, and it doesn't occur at Goulmima, so I've tried to make Asfla famous. So we've called this the Asflamember. It's a very discrete unit. It has quite a distinct weathering profile. When you're driving around some of these valleys, and you'll see a light band, and that's the Asflamember. It's a little bit softer than these indurated limestones full of shells. There's a huge carbonate ramp that can be traced from the coast all the way across North Africa. Yeah? You can find it the equivalent in Egypt. Yeah? This transgression flooded an incredibly flat world. Yeah? An incredibly flat world. It's amazing how much you can follow this along. You can pick up individual beds and follow them not for kilometres, but for tens of kilometres and, you know, more. Okay.
So heading back, there's a very large cemetery here. Each of the upright stones is the head and foot of a grave. So behind the two trees on the roof will be lunch.
Oh, merci. Merci
Oh, the skull is about a metre in length.
bagage.
Try my best. Show all 3 teeth. My front 3 teeth.
Okay, don't smile.
I would be really grateful if you could send me one of those, and I'll send it back to the guys, and I'll send it to what's that one?